So I just attached this second layer piece here towards the back, and my last video I talked about my process for attaching these. I'm almost done with the second layer of final planking. I have one more piece on the port side, this back piece to do. It's about 6 feet long. But the process I use, I still use the silver tip epoxy, and what I've been doing is I encapsulate, like I said before, I encapsulate the boat with an unthickened batch where the piece is going to go, and then I encapsulate the backside, and then I mix thickened epoxy with some microspheres and then some wood flour, so it's brown, it darkens it. And then what I do is I apply the thickened epoxy to the boat, but then I also apply the thickened epoxy to the piece also, just to give a little bit more. And I've done that for every piece except for the very first one, which was this one here. That was my other video that I did. And the other thing that I started doing partway through this, I guess, second layer, is I just use one cup, and I mix enough unthickened to do both the unthickened encapsulating and then the thickened part. It's a little easier, especially with smaller quantities. I don't know why I didn't start doing that before. But that way, I just have unthickened and I use as much as I need, and then I just thicken whatever's left in the cup. And so that helps save cups, I guess. And also, just kind of show what I use is I just kind of clamp as much as possible. Like all of these pieces so far, first and second layer, I've been able to use just clamps with pieces like this, and then I use wedges as needed, like this. I have a lot of these left from when I made the battens, and so I use those. You can kind of see how I did that here, and then where I need to, I have all these little washers made out of 4mm ply, and then I use my nailer, Homer nailer here, and I use these brown Raptor nails. That way, once I stain the boat, those things will just disappear. And using the washers, of course, makes it so the nailer doesn't dent the planking, and it actually works really good. And then I have a little nub left over because the washers just peel off. I can just peel them off by hand, and then what you end up with is a nub. If you can see it, it's a little sticking out thing. And instead of just breaking them off, because that kind of goes deeper, I use my little wire cutters and get right up flush and cut them. And I'll show you these nice little wire cutters like this, and get right up close to the boat. And that works really well. So, and you can see back here for the second piece for the second layer of planking in the back, I actually had to do these this clamping. So what I did is I screwed these 2x2s of the boat, and what I marked them where the screw holes go, just one on each end of these pieces here. I have 2 of them, and I marked where I'm going to put screws in the bottom planking, and I made it so those holes will be where those screws are going to go, so I'm not making extra holes in the boat. And I have 2 pieces of 4mm planking, which seems to be a good, so it's 2 layers thick, but it seems to be good flexibility and enough pressure. And I had to do that. This is the first place I had to do that, was back here for the second row, and I'm going to have to do it for the next rows too, it looks like. And because then in the back,